Hello.
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 Are you sure that's going to be... I don't feel very loud in my own ears. Hello. That sounds fine.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to My Podcabbages.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just hungry. I just got to keep eating. Oh, are we recording?
Yeah.
I thought we were just testing the mics. Hello. Welcome to My Podcabbages. Merry Christmas. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 11th episode of My Podcabbages.
Covering episode 10. It's going to be really confusing from now on.
It's okay. We'll get used to it. I just played Fortnite for the first time today.
Yeah.
So I'm
I had to force Summer to play Fortnite.
Force Night.
It's a stressful game.
So this is my brain and my heart have been pulled asunder just all day trying to think about anything else.
Other than Fortnite.
Not that my heart belongs to Fortnite. It's just that I'm just so upset that this happened to me, that I was exposed to this millennial experience. Mm-hmm. I guess more like a Gen Z experience.
Yeah, it's more of a Gen Z thing.
I finally know what boomers feel like just using cell phones.
The most millennial thing is to not be into Fortnite.
Now I feel very called out.
I'm in between millennial and Gen Z, so I'm very...
Yeah, Noah's definitely like a zillennial for
I'm
sure.
a zillennial, and so I'm just very neutral about Fortnite, and I will never be good at it.
Noah would rather have a game that was just called Week.
Just give me 1 week, Ben.
This episode is called Jet. Just a one-word, very straightforward, simple title.
Because in this episode, they fly an airplane.
They go on a plane. Aang get airplane.
Aang get airplane.
He trades an op.
Trades an oppa for
747.
For a 747. Every anime needs an airplane episode.
Wait, what?
You know those TV show episodes where it like entirely takes place like on an airplane and they do like those peanut flight attendant shenanigans.
You know, like there are so many TV shows and movies that are just like weird scenarios that are based in a flight, and I feel like I should just be annoyed or bored with them, but every time I see a commercial for one of these things, I'm like so enthralled, and I'm dying to know. Like there's that new show called, what is it, Manifest?
Yeah.
That keeps advertising on like Hulu or Crunchyroll or whatever we're watching, and it's like the #1 TV show in America.
Yeah. It's like a science fiction show, right? Where it's like,
yeah, I think so.
They're on a flight and then they come back and then it's like, it's been 10 years or something
Here's
like
the
that.
Thing. Every time I'm working, like every single time I'm working a flight, I'm sitting in my jump seat looking at all of the people on my plane and I'm like, I would love to be stuck in a TV show with these people and see what they can do, because I always have a few characters, you know?
You should start a new podcast where you should review like a bunch of different shows, but like only the episodes that take place on a commercial airliner.
Interesting idea. Well, I'll put that in my pocket, save it for a rainy day. Anyway, let's talk about our podcast.
Welcome to My Podcabbages.
Let's get to our podcast.
Let's do the intro again.
All right, welcome to My Podcabbages.
I'm Noah, and this is the orangest episode yet.
What? Okay, well, first of all, I'm Summer.
I'm Noah, and this is the orangest episode yet.
Okay, can you please explain?
This whole episode is orange. it's a lot of autumnal colors. It's very like
Okay.
brown and orange in this episode.
That's weird since it's already well into winter, which
Yeah.
is like the middle of
This
the
gotta-
end of December.
They gotta be at the equator right now because it's episode 10. There's about 20 episodes.
They did just leave the Fire Nation.
So they gotta be like right in the middle.
I do have some fun facts. I've started to narrow down my fun facts to like sort of episode specific stuff so that I don't wear out my fun facts.
Okay.
Do you want to hear them?
Yes.
Here's the first fun fact. There is a fight between two of the characters in this episode, Aang and the titular character, Jet.
Okay.
It takes place in the trees, and this fight was inspired by the Naruto and Samurai Champloo animes, as much of the fighting in Naruto takes place in forests with trees at least 6 stories high.
Damn. That is true. People in Naruto, they sure are like hopping through trees all the time, aren't they?
You know what is weird? I've watched a lot of episodes of Naruto, but not actively. Like, it was a show that I would just put on to like fall asleep to, or just to have on in the background, just like as a comfort anime, because it just seemed so relaxing to have on.
Yeah.
So familiar, just culturally, I guess. But I don't think I've ever actually like watched beginning to end, watched a full episode. So I don't really know anything about the actual show.
Yeah. Kind of same.
Really?
A little bit. I've only watched, there was a thing where I think in like, when I was like in 6th grade or something, it was on like Toonami and they were like airing the 100th episode of Naruto, and they were doing an entire marathon, hours and hours long. And I was just like in a room just watching the whole thing. I feel like I had to like go outside and like run around just because I was just so inactive, and I was just sitting so still. So I did get really into Naruto in like one day, and then I think that was kind of it.
How are you meant to pronounce the word Naruto? I always thought it was, or I guess I read it as Naruto.
Just, I think
But you always seem to say it Naruto.
I think the most fans say Naruto. I feel like that's like the most common pronunciation.
Of course, in Japanese, it would just be Naruto.
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 Wait, you don't say the ru?
I mean, U's are usually
Naruto.
silent.
The ru?
Naruto.
Naruto. Okay.
Anyway, back to our non-anime show. My second fact is also reference-based. The forest that we have, that we see and experience in this episode,
Big trees.
is a reference to the Ewoks forest village in Star Wars
I was literally thinking,
Episode 6.
it's like, well, this doesn't have to be. This is about like the other big tree forest, the Ewok forest.
Yep.
But it is the only other big tree forest I was thinking of, the Ewok forest.
In the original sketches of The Hideout, one of the creators actually literally referred to the middle section of the trees where the hideout was located as the quote-unquote Ewok area.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That explains like the whole treehouse setup that they got.
Spoilers.
Have you been there?
No.
It's in San Francisco,
I know.
right?
It's the the redwood forest area. I never went there when I was living there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I was close to there. It was the day when you were working, and I was literally just wandering around San Francisco for like a day. Because I was staying in the hotel, in your work hotel that you were at. So I was just wandering around on foot because I didn't have any money to like Uber or bike around.
You sent me a Snapchat of this scarf that you found on the ground and decided to keep and put around your actual human flesh neck.
Anyways, I walked to like the big red bridge or golden.
The Golden Gate Bridge?
However you see it, golden red. I think the forest was like kind of like on the other side of the bridge, but I was like, I'm not walking across that bridge.
I'm not e-walking across
I'm not e-walking. That's what you call walking in VR.
Despite having lived there for over 2 years, I never went to the bridge and I never went to the Ewok forest, unfortunately. We see the gang in the forest and Momo is chasing a bug. So he runs around, finds some fruit, and he gets trapped by a little little trap that's been left there.
Just like in the Ewok forest.
Just like in the Ewok forest.
God, this is a whole Star Wars Episode 6 ripoff. Star Wars Episode 6 Naruto crossover fan fiction, I guess.
I mean, that's literally what I was trying to tell you. Yes.
Thank you.
Aang is wondering where Momo is, and he follows Momo's voice and finds him, flies up and gets him down. And he sees that there are other monkeys here who need to get down, so he decides to get them down too. But Sokka realizes it's going to take a while, so he's like, you know what, fuck this, boomerang time.
Yeah. He says, this is going to take forever. And literally he just gets them down in like 4 seconds.
This
just
is
by throwing a boomerang.
probably the most effective use of a boomerang I've ever seen. Like, realistically, this is what boomerangs are for.
Just like cutting ropes and things.
Sokka recognizes these traps as Fire Nation traps from the metalwork. How does he recognize metalwork? I guess they did grow up next to like a big metal ship. Maybe that's
true.
I'm wondering if like the firebenders are the only ones who really know how to make like metal contraptions.
Yeah, you don't see any of the other nations like using metal.
Yeah,
except for weaponry.
So Sokka suggests that they walk instead of fly because he thinks that's how they keep getting spotted by the Fire Nation.
And this has to be the worst idea the gang has yet.
Does the gang have it though? I think it's mostly Sokka's idea.
Yeah, but he's just deciding for everyone, and
I mean, they're not very happy about it.
The gang is complicit anyways.
I guess.
Because I gotta get this food out of my mouth, out of my stomach. Not a good podcasting food. This is a very bad idea because they're using backpacks. Their backs are loaded with these packs, and Appa's right there behind them, just like walking, and they're walking, holding heavy things, when they could just go on top of Appa. Appa doesn't have to fly. He could just walk like a regular bison. They could just ride him. Even
just like bare minimum, they could just put their stuff onto him.
Everything about this idea is very bad. They're trying to make it as hard as possible. And Appa could just like hover above the ground if he wants to.
Maybe it's like more work to fly than it is to walk.
Yeah, he could just be like airplane rules where you got to go fast to fly.
Well, just remember when they first found him, he was too tired to fly, so it must take a lot of energy.
That's true, but they could just ride on top of Appa walking.
No, I agree. But like at the very least, they could have just put their stuff on him. I think the reason that they chose not to like ride Appa was just because it would have been so, well, we'll just make Appa do it. You know what I mean? Instead of like, we'll all do it.
Just solidarity with Appa?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Sorry for all the smacking and munching on this episode. We're just hungry. Katara makes a point, which she tries to make a point that they could ride on Appa, though, and she says that he's not too noticeable, which is just the weirdest. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you go that direction for this argument?
Yeah.
Because that's probably the least true thing you could say. And Sokka's like, he literally has an arrow pointing to his face.
It's me. That's why the air bison are designed like that, because they're just so conceited.
I mean, mood. That's why I have an arrow tattooed onto my body. Please look at me. I'm so beautiful.
My eyes are down here.
Sokka says that his instincts tell him that they should walk, though. They have like a little argument about who the leader is, and Katara says that it should be Aang because he's the avatar, and Sokka points out that he's just a goofy kid, and we see Aang like off on the side. I don't know what he's doing. Like
he's like hanging upside down on Appa's horn or something.
And Aang's like, he's right. Just like completely agreeing with this.
Yeah, I only heard the last sentence that you said, but you're right.
And Katara, just out of nowhere, she's like, you wouldn't be so bossy if you'd kissed a girl. Like, excuse me?
A weird logic. Okay. You see, when men have too much testosterone,
it's sucked out of them by a kiss.
When you kiss the girl, you get estrogen into you.
Yikes. But Aang is like, I'm all for this. Let's try it out. Walking might be fun. And then like cut to the next scene where Aang's just like, walking stinks. And I mean, like he is doing cardiovascular exercise probably for the very first time in his life. So Bagua is a lot of work, but it's mostly just kind of strength as opposed to like actual walking exercise.
Is jumping like 20 feet in the air cardiovascular?
Well,
does it take a lot of cardio?
That's extreme. That's all strength based though, because it's just airbending.
Yeah, he never does that much jogging.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he's just floating around. Aang weighs half a pound.
Katara keeps making fun of the fact that Sokka has instincts, and Aang kind of plays along with everything. He plays along with everything so well, actually. He's like such a go-lucky boy. Like, he's just having a good time, just kind of agreeing with people in this episode.
Yeah. Again, that's what makes his personality like so well to like waterbending. Because that's the whole waterbender thing is like being okay with everything and being very open to change and being flexible.
Going with the flow.
Oh, just like water. I get it now.
Water.
Liquid. Slurpee.
Sokka admits that he's tired too, but that the important thing is that they're safe from the Fire Nation. He says as they stumble directly into the middle of a Fire Nation camp. All of these Fire Nation dudes are just like sitting there staring at them like in the middle of dinner, just kind of chilling. And I realized watching this again, making my notes, that the Fire Nation army appears to be just completely like entirely comprised of men. Oh. Which sucks. But then like maybe it's just a metaphor for how shitty men are in general. Also, it makes me laugh how all the Fire Nation soldiers in this scene are like, they're completely decked out in armor, and like not only that, but like most of them are just already holding their swords and shit. They're just kind of sitting around eating. They got a spoon in one hand and a sword in the other. It's like they're steak knives.
Yeah, they're like cutting with their swords.
Sokka yells, "Run!" And the whole gang drops their supplies, all their backpacks, which makes me a little bit sad.
Just again losing all their supplies.
Oh my god! They try to bounce, but they get cut off by fire.
Sokka catches on fire.
And Katara puts him out with a little water whip from her water skin. I think this is actually the first time that we see her using waterbending like this, like the portable water skin sort of situation. And then Sokka's like, if you let us pass, we promise not to hurt you, which is, I mean, a very obvious bluff.
Yeah.
And the firebenders don't buy this bluff. But then we hear a little whooshing sound, and one of the soldiers falls over.
And he's just dead.
Yeah, he died. Fucking died.
I mean, we're assuming he got shot by an arrow.
I think it's like presumably like via poison dart or something.
Okay.
That was my guess. Like he just got knocked out. Aang thinks Sokka did it for some reason. And Sokka makes a joke that he did it with his instincts. Then we see some big kids show up on the scene.
Look, in the trees. A boy.
This handsome anime boy flies out of the trees.
He's got hooks for swords.
He's got his classic anime sprouty twig between his teeth. And yeah, those little hooky swords, one for each of his two hands. He starts taking these Fire Nation soldiers down.
He's dual-wielding swords, which is probably the coolest weapon.
That's true. Like, I always, when I'm writing stories, especially like combat stories, I always want to incorporate a sword, but like for modern stories, it just does not make sense.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're so cool.
It's very cool. Dual-wielding swords is very cool.
Yeah.
Lose me with that Final Fantasy VII Monster Hunter big giant sword shit. Find me with that Sword Art Online Kingdom Hearts dual wielding sword shit.
I'll find you there. He flies out of the trees, lands on two of them like they're a pair of skis, and he just starts skiing around the camp with his hooky ski poles. He grabs two dudes at once for a sick slow-mo shot. Flips them heels over head back into the fire crowd while he himself does a full no-hand assist front flip. A front handspring? No. A front flip. And then he says,
the music cuts out.
and he's like, down you go.
Down you go.
Down you go.
Down you go.
No,
Down you go.
something Noah and I noticed here is that Jet appears to speak exclusively in Soulcalibur catchphrases.
Yeah.
First of all, we haven't technically learned Jet's name, but I figured since it's the name of the episode, we're good.
Let's assume that this cool kid is Jet.
Soulcalibur voice. Down you go.
Can you say that in like an anime girl voice?
Down you go. Down you go. Down you go. Down you go. Down you go.
Courage. Let's go. This is it.
Noah, what would be...
Come on.
Noah, what would...
It's over.
Noah.
Back off.
Please. What would be your Soulcalibur catchphrase?
That's the power of the hook blades.
That's yours?
No. I mean, what would be my weapon? What are the weapons you can use in Soulcalibur?
I don't know if that's relevant. Because you can use different weapons
If
for
I'm
the
using,
same
like-
character.
If I'm using hammer, I don't want to be like, now you're sliced up.
No, but but the characters can use different weapons. So like it's unique to the personality of the person, not their weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So what would your Soulcalibur catchphrase be as a person?
Now you fucked up.
Now you fucked
Now
up.
you fucked up. Oh!
Ah, what's
Oh! Use that for like a grab attack and they just like squeeze popped out. Sorry about the graphicness of this podcast.
Mine would be, you can't, shouldn't, must, and won't beat me. Wait, let me say it again in my summer Valentine voice. You can't, shouldn't, mustn't, and won't beat me.
And your what voice?
Like Ivy, you know.
I haven't played much Soulcalibur.
This was like my favorite game growing up, so I've played too much. But the gang looks appropriately unconvinced by this absolutely ludicrous display, with the exception of Katara, who looks stoked as hell. But this cool kid keeps going. He just hooks another soldier, pulls him into a waltz. They spend a full 5 minutes of screen time just waltzing.
Jet grabs the soldiers. He grabs 2 soldiers with his hook swords and he dips them into a nearby river. 2 fish come out and eat both of the soldiers, and he catches both of the fish and he eats both of the fish at the same time with both of his hands, with 2 of his mouths.
Well, you know what they say, you can lead a... I just imagined all of the places I could go with this metaphor and got overwhelmed.
Okay, just say all of them.
I can't.
You can jet stream a... You can
jet a stream to fish, but you can't fish a jet to stream.
You can jet stream, feed a man to a fish, he gets fed for life.
You can jet to the fish, but you can't fish a man to stream. You can't teach a man to jet into the fish. I can't go on. I'm going to start crying.
Okay.
Finally, we hear a fun kazoo noise, and another little kid falls from the trees onto a soldier's shoulders. And he's like laughing and blocking his vision as this dude kind of just tumbles around. There's a scattering of arrows. So I've been doing NaNoWriMo this month, and taking notes for this episode was literally killing me. Because I had to like put actual effort, like actual physical restraint, like one hand grasping the other wrist as the serpent guided Eve, trying so hard not to embellish or stylize my writing in any way, because it's all I've been doing for over a week now, so my notes took a little longer than usual. Anyway, there was a scattering of arrows. More boys appear from the trees. We got one boo. We got one boy who can shoot many arrows. This guy is called Longshot. 2 big boys, one named Sneers and another named, actually, he has an ironic name we'll discuss in a moment. One boy who just, I don't know, he's just there, Smeller Bee. Can I just be the first person in modern history to complain about this name, though?
Smellerbee?
What does Smellerbee mean?
I don't know.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, you like to smell bees. There's a killer bee.
I don't
and
like
then
that.
There's a smeller bee where you like to smell.
Especially don't like that. They're very the Lost Boys, and Jet is just Peter Pan or whatever. There's a lot of rumbling and tumbling, a lot of dirty boys going around. We see Aang and Katara team up to fight, and Aang at this point is just using airbending as a form of telekinesis.
Yeah, Aang is he's literally, this is not a bit, he's literally people bending some of the soldiers. He's just dragging them
with the air
on the floor with the air.
Just do that.
Poltergeist style.
Katara pulls out her water and just throws it aside, just completely wasting it on literally nothing.
Throws it out.
Sokka goes to attack some fire soldiers and is interrupted by the cool anime kid who gets him first. And Sokka cries kill steal like it's a fucking video game.
Yeah.
And Jet gives us his second Soulcalibur line. Gotta be quicker next time.
Is that all you got? Come on, Sokka. Giving up already? Time's up.
Out of curiosity, I did check this voice actor out, and yeah, he is a video game character.
Oh. What is his video game character?
He's from a Nintendo game. Any guesses?
Is his series in Smash Brothers?
He probably should be.
It probably should be. Then I don't know.
Okay, so I went to this voice actor's Wikipedia page, and apparently this voice actor is quote-unquote best known for his role as Sagi from Baten Kaito's Origins.
I've
never fucking heard of this game.
You could be making this up right now. This could be just made up by some random person. This could be made up by the voice actor himself who was like, oh, I was in a video game trying to plagiarize his resume.
I like how his Wikipedia page starts with like he's best known for this Nintendo game, and then it talks about this game, and then like at the end of the first paragraph it's like he's also in Avatar: The Last Airbender, just like very quietly. I'm like, okay. But we do have, I know we have some Nintendo fans of our show, so they're probably screaming right now, very aware of this game that I've never heard of in my life. Oh well. But if he's famous for this Nintendo game, he probably should be in Smash. And then Sokka gets kill-stealed again. Jet keeps taking these soldiers down. He uses one fellow as a staircase, runs directly into Katara very conspicuously, and starts flirting with her so fast. She falls for it for some reason. I don't know. I guess as a 25-year-old on the planet Earth, I just can see this guy as definitely a tryhard. But in the moment, he probably looks very cool. Mm-hmm. He is very tall, which I am into personally.
Yeah.
Not everyone cares about that, which is valid. And if you're short, that's super valid. But I do like to see a tall boy personally, as me.
There's just some last Fire Nations soldiers coming for him, and he stands on top of both of his swords and starts using them as stilts and is sprinting across the camp right at them, and he swings his feet around and twirls them around with his foot hooks, man door, hand hook, car door.
Aang commends Jet on taking out the whole camp single-handedly for some reason. Even though we just saw his whole group of boys. Jet finally introduces himself and his group as the Freedom Fighters. He points out the Duke and Pipsqueak, and Aang is like, Pipsqueak, that's a funny name. Sort of assuming that the little kid was the Pipsqueak boy.
Yeah.
But the biggest boy in the group is like, you think my name is funny? And Aang is like, hell yeah, it's hilarious. I fucking love Aang's personality. He's just so genuine and fearless and adorable. Pipsqueak, the big boy, has a very good solid laugh, and they all seem to get along really well. In my research, I found out a little tidbit about the Duke.
Okay.
The Duke is the only character in the series to have 2 voice actors other than Iroh.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay. Does he just have a different... he comes up in a different episode?
Yeah, and he's got a different voice actor.
Weird.
But he's the only one other than Iroh.
So Jet's little team is he's got Sneers, which we don't really get that much of.
I think I even remember reading Sneers. This is the only episode that Sneers is in.
Just Sneers, who is like that one guy who was in the first season of Parks and Rec that no one remembers.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
His role
was that Mark?
Mark. Could be Mark. Let's
Okay.
just call him Mark. So you got Sneers, who is like a Mark type, a Longshot, who's a ranger, Smellerbee, a rogue, the dude, who is the dude.
No, it's the Duke.
I like to call him the dude.
It's the Duke, though.
Okay. I remember the first like 3 times I watched this episode as a kid, I kept thinking it was the dude.
Well, me too, but he's definitely not
Jeff Bridges.
He's definitely not a Lebowski.
So you got the Duke, who is the Duke, and Pipsqueak, who is a tank, and uses a log as a weapon.
The boys are raiding the campsite, and Sokka looks very apprehensive. And then we see Katara approaching Jet, and Jet he's literally leaning against a tree, like in the shadows, and he still has that little sprout in his mouth.
Yeah.
He is trying so hard. Jet thanks her for providing a distraction, and Katara mentions that she and the gang were relying on instinct, and Jet says, "You'll get yourself killed like that." And just Sokka looks even angrier. Sokka is so out of sorts in this whole episode. He has to be feeling very irritable.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that episode of the new Netflix Sabrina where we see like Zelda's worst nightmare. It's just like people being more successful than her, basically.
Yeah.
Just, like, I just want people to appreciate me. Yeah.
Yeah. Sokka's incredibly valid this episode.
It's true. This might be the only episode where Sokka really shines.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, I was going to bring this up at the end, but it kind of felt, rewatching this episode, it kind of felt like it was just a good dream that Sokka was having.
Yeah.
Just a dream where he felt like everything was kind of going the way he wanted it to.
Like this whole episode's in Sokka's perspective, and like any other guy just seems like so like posery to him.
I guess like it doesn't really seem that way yet, but like by the end of the episode, it certainly feels like it was all Sokka's ideal episode, basically.
Yeah.
The Duke finds barrels of blasting jelly, and then Pipsqueak finds some boxes of jelly candy, and Jet's like, let's not get those mixed up, which it makes me feel like this episode could have been a lot more interesting with a little more effort from the writers.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. What's it called? Like when you see a gun on the mantle in the first act.
Chekhov's gun.
Is that what it's called?
Chekhov's gel.
Chekhov's jelly.
Then they find boxes filled with blasting candy, and then some boxes filled with jelly gel, and then they find some boxes filled with donuts, jelly filled. To my favorite, nothing beats a jelly filled donut.
Jet invites the gang back to the Freedom Fighters. Now that sounds like a fun Halloween episode.
Ooh,
The
Freedom
Fighters. He invites them back to their hideout and shows them their cool little rope rig that pulls them up into the trees, and decides to just kind of get up on his own, showing off his airbending. And then Jet is like, grab hold of me, Katara, which is a very weird way to tell someone to, I don't even know what the motive could have been here. Like, he could have just let Katara like get up on her own, but didn't because she's a girl. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
girls can't climb things. They don't have hands.
Fucking hate it. What? Anyway, they fly up into the trees together. Katara looks very much smitten with this anime boy. I fucking hate to see it. They do have a pretty incredible setup in the treetops, though.
Are they like camped here, or have they been living here?
This looks like a society.
They live in a society.
Jet tells them that the Fire Nation is looking for him because he's been causing them a little bit of trouble since they took over a nearby Earth Nation town. He explains that the Fire Nation basically like fucked up all of their lives one way or the other. And Katara tells him that she and Sokka can relate. And then they have that Hook feast scene.
Yeah,
God.
it was. It's very Hook-like. The whole setup and sort of like architecture of the dinner table setup of this whole treehouse outdoors sort of deck thing is like exactly what it looks like in Hook.
That has to be like my very favorite scene from that movie, though. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Just like the weird, goopy rainbow dishes.
Sometimes you just gotta have, sometimes you just want to eat some goop with your friends in a tree.
Ideal sustenance for a child's body. Eating that will make me a real human person with all the essential parts.
Maybe there's some like sort of like primal evolutionary thing in humans.
I have no idea what it is, but it's definitely there.
Eating goop with your friends in a tree.
Accidental evolutionary byproduct. It's like the spleen of appetite.
Spleen? Don't you need your spleen? Do you mean like appendix?
That's what I said.
Okay.
Jet gives a pretty good speech, I guess. It feels a little dramatic and scripted to me.
I'm getting a lot of theater kid vibes from Jet.
Definitely, for sure. And then he just casually walks across the table and then sits down next to Katara, who compliments his speech for some reason. Katara, I am begging you to aim higher.
Yeah.
I know he lives in the trees, but it's an illusion. Jet compliments their fighting, and Katara points out that Aang is the Avatar. Jet's like, Avatar, eh? Very nice.
Like this confidence that he has makes me feel like that he doesn't know what the Avatar is.
Wow,
he's like,
Avatar.
Wow, the Avatar, right?
Holy shit.
Very nice.
Super cool of you.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I've heard of the Avatar.
Yeah,
Nice.
it sounded kind of like someone, if you're just at dinner and someone was like, oh, what? No, he's the Pope. And he's just like, Pope, eh?
I literally wrote down the Pope.
I did too. Pope, eh? Very nice.
Oh, the Pope. Very nice.
Incredible. That's how you know you're meant to be married to someone.
Thank you.
Sokka says that they have to leave.
Yeah.
Suddenly has an inspirational idea to just get the fuck out of there. Jet says
he's like, but wait, I need you on an important mission tomorrow. I was gonna have you.
Jet does definitely give off the exact same vibes as that guy in that weird video of the accidental FaceTime, the what's popping guy.
Oh, the what's popping.
Yeah, like it's the same exact vibes.
Popping? Katara. That's his very first line when he takes out those two dudes.
He says he needs Sokka on an important mission, and Sokka can't help but be interested.
It's a very classic sort of manipulative tactic to like guilt someone for not being able to do something that you didn't invite them to yet. And it was like, but I was planning on having you doing this thing that I'm just telling you about right now. How dare you?
The next day, we see them in the middle of an ambush, and they're sending little bird call signals and shit. Sokka actually has like some useful abilities to offer here.
He plugs his headphones into the tree.
Can you tell we've been watching My Hero Academia? The worst anime? Sorry. No, I'm not going to say anything bad. There's too many anime fans, too many My Hero Academia fans for me to talk shit about the show. It's so boring! An old man shows up and Sokka tries to call this thing off, but Jet jumps down, tries to attack this old guy. This old man tries to ask, this old man goes rolling home. Oh, we already made that joke. In a much better way.
Yes.
We can never use that again. He does try to ask like for passage, and I swear to God, this guy sounds like he definitely sounds like he's voiced by Paul F. Tompkins. I swear, like I have listened to so much of his voice acting that it just
and like all his different impressions that he does.
Yeah, it's uncanny. So I did try to find out who voiced this guy, and I couldn't find anything, but I did find out that there's like when I was looking up the voice actors for this episode, I found out there's a voice actor who voices both Appa and Momo.
Oh, just both of them?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Is Momo just Appa sped up?
Apparently, yeah. That's the implication. Or Appa is just Momo sped down.
Is it just like someone's like just real ass voice just making those sounds like Chewbacca sounds?
I mean, yeah. It's hard to imagine, but like where else would they get those noises?
I was assuming like sort of sound design, kind of like, ooh, we got some like real buffalo sounds mixed with like a tiger purring or something.
This voice actor, this guy, D. Bradley Baker, he does so much shit, and I have never heard of him for some reason. I did send you a link to his thing. I want you to just look at just kind of a list of the stuff that he's been part of, just to experience this big list.
Okay, Sweet D Bradley Baker, known for American Dad, that show. Oh, he is Perry the Platypus.
You're gonna die if you just
hang on,
dwell on all this. Just like,
hang on.
there's so much.
I gotta go to all filmography. Holy shit, that's 560.
I'm telling you.
In Star Wars The Clone Wars, there's like literally like 30 different characters.
I'm telling you, this guy has done so much.
This is comically... In SpongeBob, I'm like, I have to scroll down so much just to get through all his SpongeBob voices. Maybe 40 characters in Adventure Time.
Looks like more than that. 1, 2,
Lots.
3, 4,
I don't know
5,
how
6,
to
7, 8,
estimate.
9, 10. Maybe like 80 characters in Adventure Time.
This guy's got to be so rich.
I cannot believe I've never heard his name before.
How do you get yourself into so many shows? I guess if you can make and like sounds and stuff. This is...
It's something else, isn't it?
It is something else.
Anyway, Jet does try to murder this old man.
This is the important mission that they have to do. We're going to mug some old rando.
Some innocent person that we don't know anything about.
Super important.
Because of his Fire Nation vendetta, of course. Sokka tries to stop him before... Well, he does stop him, actually, before he can kick this dude in the head. And they rob the old guy, and then they leave. Then we see that Aang has a new little bag. It's so cute. He shows Sokka something that the Duke gave him. They appear to be poppers, like 4th of July
They're
style.
like firecrackers, kind of.
I had to look these up to see what their official name was, and it's Bang Snaps, which sounds fake. I'm pretty sure we always called them poppers. Personally.
You didn't call them firecrackers?
No, firecrackers are something completely different.
How are they different?
Firecrackers are like it's something you light and then run away because they are dangerous.
I thought firecrackers were just things that you throw on the ground and they go...
No, we called those poppers.
Okay, sure.
I'm sure everyone has a different name for them. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. Like in Florida, I'm sure everything that explodes is a firecracker.
I guess.
Be it...
You know those firecrackers that go in the sky? The big ones? They go like on 4th of July?
You could still consider those firecrackers. Like personally, I would call that a firecracker before I would call a popper a firecracker.
Okay.
He throws them at Momo for some reason.
Who makes like an extremely different sound.
Yeah,
that
he's
you've
like
never
a little
heard.
cat, like pissed off cat. That classic like sort of black cat with the furry hair standing up. And then he jumps on Aang's shoulders and starts grabbing the little poppers from Aang's bag and throwing them at his feet. Aang is like freaking out. So good.
Momo is just in a rampage mode at Aang.
It's so good. I love to see Ango. That's a word I came up with.
Ango.
Katara asks Sokka if Jet is back, and Sokka's like, yeah, and we are GTFOing. And Katara's like, no, I made him a hat. And she pulls out this little red hat that she made him out of like leaves and flowers. And honestly, it is so cute. Yeah,
it's like a little beanie, but kind of like jester hat looking.
Yeah, anybody who's ever gone snowboarding has had a hat like this. It's like one of those little jester beanies that snowboarders love. For some reason, it's like a quirky beanie. That's just how it be sometimes. And then Sokka's like, your boyfriend Jet is a thug. And I was like, what? What a weird word to use. I don't like that. And Katara's like, what? Literally just exact same reaction I had. And then Katara and Aang like try to defend Jet and his lost boys. And Sokka says that he beat and robbed a harmless old man. Then we see Jet explaining, sort of defending himself, saying that the old man was a Fire Nation.
And in this scene, Aang is wearing the hat that Katara made.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
I wish we would have seen the interaction. Like either it was Katara being like, I can't give this to Jet, and then giving it to Aang, or Aang just being like, please let me have this.
Yeah. Or Katara just offering it to Jet anyways, and Jet being like, I don't like hats. It makes my hair look weird.
And then Aang taking it. Yeah, any and all options here, they would have been fun to watch.
Aang's wearing any hat he can get his hands on.
Aang loves hats.
If you don't have any hair, it just fits so well.
I was just about to say, like, I can see the appeal. Like, if you don't have any hair, it's just like, I need a cap.
Little head clothes.
There's a bit of an argument about the old man, and Jet pulls out like a poison knife and says that the old man was an assassin, and Sokka is just mad trying to convince his friends that the old guy was just innocent.
Sokka's like, I didn't see any knife. And Jet is like, that's because he had a concealed weapon. Jet's got like cop levels of hot takes.
Sokka says he's going to go back and pack his bags. Jet tells Aang and Katara that the Fire Nation is planning on burning down the forest, and he needs their water bending to fill the reservoir to fight the fires. Katara tries to convince Sokka that they need to stay and help, and Sokka says that they can't trust Jet. And Katara says that he's just jealous of him, and like he almost definitely is, which makes this whole situation kind of complicated because, I mean, Sokka is right about all of this, but he's also definitely jealous of Jet. So it's hard for him to make a convincing argument against him, basically. That night, Sokka wakes up when he hears some of the boys making plans, and he runs off and follows them down to a river. He hears them making plans to blow the dam up and destroy the town below with the water in the reservoir. The Duke mentions that there are innocent people in the town, like kids and just generally innocent people who probably aren't even aware that there's a war going on. And Jet is just like, shrug emoji. Oh, well. They find Sokka hiding in the bushes and they pull him out. Jet explains that they can't win without making some... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
After a short commercial break, it's daytime now.
Yeah. There's like a little cut scene, or there's like we see them sort of encounter Sokka in the bushes, and then there's like a fade out and fade in where you would normally have a commercial. And when it comes back, it's just like midday. Yeah,
it's kind of like like there's a scene in Batman: The Dark Knight that Batman, is it called Batman: The Dark Knight?
I don't know.
The second Christopher Nolan Batman movie Christopher Nolan, where Batman's riding his little motorcycle and is like, I think it's like daytime, and like he goes into a tunnel, and when he comes out, it's like nighttime, just immediately changing the time of day.
Jet explains that they can't win without making some sacrifices. And he does admit that he lied to Aang and Katara because they didn't understand the complications of war or whatever. Sokka just doesn't buy any of this bullshit. So Jet's like, okay, well, let's just restrain him. And Smellerby and Sneers? Or
I thought it was a
Pipsqueak, maybe?
Pipsqueak.
Okay. The two of those, they look a lot alike. Pipsqueak and Sneers.
That's why Sneers is probably gone by now.
That's very true. Why do you need a Sneers when you already have a Pipsqueak? That's my catchphrase.
Don't need two tanks.
Don't need a Sneers when you have a Pipsqueak.
I do want to mention that it's just a weird name. In general, I see why he was cut. Sneers.
I mean, Smellerby is way worse in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Sneers, go off.
Sneers is just like kind of like bland, but also uncomfortable. You don't have good branding, is what I'm saying. Sneers.
Anyway, they take Sokka on a long walk. Later, Katara tells Jet that she's sorry for Sokka's behavior, and Jet says Sokka apologized, and Aang and Katara are like, Sokka apologized? Are you sure? Jet's like, yeah, I can hardly believe it either. But I did notice in this scene, Jet is very good at lying. He is very manipulative. And he understands like the whole
He's very good at it.
Obvious truths and weaknesses thing.
His main strength is that he's like very good at like flattering people.
That's true.
And like he doesn't get defensive. He gets like closer to people and tries to be like, oh no.
I mean, that's the easiest way to lie though, is to make people to compliment people and to make them feel like they're important somehow. You know what I mean? Ugh.
And he like does this most with Sokka.
Unsettling. Yeah. Well, he does that with Sokka, but also does this with Katara. In this scene, he says, I could hardly believe it either. I got the sense that maybe you talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Katara's like, oh, I did talk to him. And he's like, well, whatever you said got through to him. And Katara's like, oh, well, that's nice to hear that finally something I said had some effect. But he's just very good at like playing on people's weaknesses, basically.
Yeah.
Which is just, it makes my skin crawl a little bit.
He's definitely the kind of person who does not know how to feel empathy.
Yeah, definitely a Slytherin. Aang, just out of nowhere, just gets blasted into the sky. So we find out that they're surrounded by geysers. And then Jet asks them to bend the water from the geysers into the river to fill up the reservoir at the bottom. And again, he's very manipulative, tells Katara that she can do this and like grabs her shoulders and whispers in her ear and shit. It's so bad. Aang's like, what about me? Where's my neck massage?
He's so oblivious this entire
Such
episode.
An innocent little boy.
Like, he does not read that there's like a thing happening with Katara and Jet.
God, I wish that were me.
Yeah, there's like Sokka's even like, what about you and your boyfriend? And Katara doesn't deny it at all. And Aang's like right there and he's like just not registering.
Oh, he doesn't like the hat? I'll take it. Aang and Katara do this thing. They are able to blast the water out of these geysers and into the river. Katara says that they'll just kind of meet Jet at the reservoir afterward. And Jet is like, nope. How about the hideout? There's like a little like ominous musical cue. I don't know why Katara didn't hear it. It should have been obvious when we had the ominous.
There's like a little flute player right next to them. Just like,
the two of them work on this for a while and they get all of the geysers flowing into the river. And then they finish early, so they do agree to just go straight to the reservoir. Meanwhile, we see Sokka and his little captives. And Sokka's badgering them about how shitty this whole thing is. And Pipsqueak says that they trust and follow Jet and everything always turns out fine.
They're actually going for a long walk.
They are going for a walk for sure. Can't deny that.
It's not like a mafia thing. It's like, why don't you take my associate? I don't know how to do an accent, so I'm just going to say...
Why don't you take my associate for a long walk?
Why don't you take my associate for a long walk?
Sokka sees the little traps that Momo got caught in at the beginning of the episode, and he runs toward them. Smellerbee and Pipsqueak follow and get pulled up into the trees, and Sokka taunts them about their bad knot work, and then also just runs off. Katara and Aang arrive in time to see the terrible, awful, no good plan that Jet has. They see all of the blasting jelly and realize what exactly...
The Chekhov's blasting jelly.
They see exactly what the fuck is going on here. Aang gets on his glider to fly down and stop this plan, but Jet appears out of nowhere and snatches Aang's glider, like, after he had already jumped off the cliff. So easily could have murdered him here.
Yeah.
But Aang is an airbender, so he just does a little airball and spins back to safety. But still, like,
Jet
could have killed him easily. I mean, that should have been the point of no return for both of them. Like, hey, you just tried to fucking murder me. And well, whatever. Jet tries to explain his shitty plan, but it's shit and bad.
Hey, babe, it's cool. We're cool, right?
Fine. He implies that something happened to Sokka because he didn't either. Sokka didn't understand either. And Katara gets very upset and just blasts him away with a big a big splash of water. And Aang tries to grab his glider, but Jet grabs it first and fucking starts slashing at Aang again. Like, he does look very much like he's just trying to kill this little boy.
Yeah.
Aang says he's not going to fight him. Jet's like, well, you'll have to fight me if you want to get your glider back, and just fucking keeps attacking this small little baby boy.
Yeah.
Aang clearly does not want to fight. It's just a weird, shitty, very offensive situation. They're flying through the trees. Aang is essentially just trying to escape this madman.
He uses some shadow clone jutsu.
Okay. I thought you said you've never seen Naruto.
I've seen like 100 episodes, but
I've seen 100 episodes, but
I haven't really seen. That's such a small. You might as well have not seen any of the episodes.
Okay. Jet is just trying to kill him so hard. At some point, Aang just blasts him off a branch with the sickest air funnel. Like, at some point, Aang does have to fight back. Otherwise, he was going to lose his life. They end up on the ground, and Katara, now Katara looks like the murderer. Now, she just pulls water from the river nearby and blasts Jet into a tree and just keeps blasting this guy over and over again, like big time. At first, I'm like, yeah, Katara, hell yeah, go off. And then I'm like, Katara.
I think he's already dead.
Katara. So presumably, right before she kills this guy, she stops and just icebreakers commercial style freezes him to the tree. I did have to look up icebreaker commercials just to see if this reference would make any sense. I guess they all have unicorns in them now.
Okay.
It's been a very long time since I've watched actual TV.
That's pretty funny and random.
Very epic.
There's only like 3 words.
Funny, random, epic. She freezes him to the tree, and she's pissed that she trusted him, and he just starts whistling.
You start speaking bird.
Aang is like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Stop that. Smacks him across the face.
The birds start attacking Katara.
And then Twitter was invented.
That's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Aang tries to fly off to help because they realize what's going on. Basically, Jet is trying to communicate with his friends at the bottom of the dam to do the thing.
Explode it.
Yeah, but so like Aang tries to fly off to try to help do something, but his glider is busted and he's also just exhausted at this point. And we get a huge tensionful scene. Tensionful? Tense. That's the word. That's probably the better word.
You got a lot of tensionfulness in your neck.
It's very tensionful. I'm feeling very tensionful.
Feeling a lot of tensionfulness.
Aang says Aang says that Sokka is their only hope now, and Katara is like regretting doubting him. And again, this just does feel like a Sokka dream.
Yeah, it does.
I'm so sorry I ever doubted Sokka.
And it feels like a little melodramatic.
Yeah. And then we see Longshot shooting a fiery arrow into the blasting jelly at the dam. And Katara's like dramatic echo voice. No. The dam does blow up and the reservoir does spill down into the city.
And the cabbage guy's in the city. And he's like, my cabbages! And then he dies.
The first thing that we see in this city is a cabbage stand. I can't believe this because it's such a dramatic, upsetting scene. And they had the gall, the absolute audacity to put a cabbage.
To put the joke of the cabbage guy in this this destruction of city, killing all these people.
We watched this entire city get destroyed, and there's like
it's more of a village.
Well, yeah, but it's a big village if you're going to call it that. And a little doll floats by, sort of highlighting the consequences of this. And Aang and Katara basically they watch this, and it's very traumatizing. Katara turns and starts screaming at Jet, who tries to justify his actions. And then Sokka shows up on Appa, and he's like, Jet, you can go on home and fuck thyself. He apparently warned all of the villagers, and at first they didn't believe him, but that old guy from the woods earlier was there and vouched for his character. Everyone was able to leave the village before it was flooded.
This is absolutely huge character development for Sokka.
It's very true.
Who is horny for hating the Fire Nation.
That's true.
Like the fact that he would even talk to a Fire Nation soldier like civilly.
Yeah, that
or
is
something.
a good point.
Like that he would just kind of stroll in there.
As you say this, I'm just now realizing that it took Sokka being just extremely jealous of another guy and the the authority that he had to like get over his pride. He had to use his pride for one thing to get over his pride for like another more important thing. Yeesh.
Pride hacked.
We cut to the villagers. They're safe on a hill, and we see a little girl pick up the doll from earlier, which was very satisfying to me. Someone who gets extremely distracted by all the small things that get left behind in shows, like, oh, I don't know, the supply packs that the gang dropped at the beginning of the episode. We never see if they ever get their shit back.
They just put it back on Appa. Like it was at the camp the whole time,
I know,
right?
but like, why didn't they show it? I hate it when that happens. Ugh. Sokka and Jet have a bit of a back and forth about morality.
Yeah.
And Sokka tells Jet that Jet became a traitor when he stopped caring about innocent people. I thought this was just a very good... I honestly, I feel like this show should have aged a lot by now, but a lot of the things, a lot of the commentary they have on morality and just shit like this is still very relevant and interesting to hear.
Like, just because someone is part of a society that is, against you doesn't mean, every single person that's there is for you know.
They're not exactly lining up with your ideals and your we all know.
I'm American
and
most people are American.
That's how the earth works,
right? Most Americans
are Americans.
Don't do the things that America does.
Okay. They all say goodbye to Jet very passive aggressively. Sokka is driving Appa, and the way that Sokka says yip yip is so good and
it's
funny.
The saltiest yip yip.
Yip yip. And then Katara suggests that Sokka's instincts must have sent him down to the town, and Sokka's like, my instincts aren't always bad. And then Aang's like, hey, we're going completely the wrong direction. And Sokka's like, and sometimes they're wrong. And that's the episode.
There you have it.
I do like that just at the very end, it's like Sokka commenting on the fact that, it's like Sokka highlighting his character growth in this episode, is that he's able to admit his faults.
No Iroh or Zuko in this one.
This has to be the very first episode where Sokka has use.
Where the episode was better because of Sokka.
Yeah. I think he just gets better from here on, but it was hard to care about him at all as a character up until this point.
Yeah. When I first watched this show, I thought Jet was the coolest kid ever.
But he is very typical cool anime kid.
Yeah. I think it was just he was the only guy who kind of looked like me in the show.
Zuko looks like you.
I don't have a ponytail. You could say that about Sokka or Zuko, but that hair, though.
Speaking of Jet, I have a few questions about that character in particular to maybe sift out the correlation that he has with another thing.
Are you that French painting dude meme? I do have a fondness for the large buttocks, and I don't not tell the truth.
We're doing a character quiz.
Oh, why? We haven't done one in so long.
Yeah, but we like to have fun here.
Yeah.
This is all about fun. Jet's morning alarm clock goes off. How does he wake up?
He shoots it with an arrow.
It's multiple choice. And that is not one of the choices. Immediately up and out. It's time to get going. Lie there, toss and turn, unwillingly get up. I didn't hear it and I woke up late. Or calmly start the day.
Immediately get out.
I feel like he would be awake before his alarm clock went off.
He's treating his alarm clock like a microwave timer. Just try to get it right before it goes off.
Does Jet have any homemaking skills? He can cook, clean, sew, everything and anything. He can clean and cook well. he's good at fixing, making, and growing things, or he's super clumsy and can hardly do anything.
I feel like Jet would be the kind of guy who's like knows everything about like doomsday prepping and like how to like skin an animal and things, and he doesn't know how to like get a stain out of a carpet or something. Yeah, or like doing a dish. Definitely fixing and making and growing things.
Okay. While Jet is looking for his missing loved one, he comes across 2 dark, creepy tunnels, but doesn't know which way to go. He's stressed and shaken. How does he proceed? Cry out for my loved one, then hurry down one of the tunnels, pace around uneasily, take a deep breath, and go down one of them. Instinctively, I run down one tunnel, no time to stop and worry. Listen intently and look for signs to understand which way to go. In my worry and indecision, a mystery wind pulls me down one, or I calmly choose one tunnel. I can always turn around if need be. That's a lot of options.
It seems like that he would be the person to just start running down one tunnel as soon as he could, but I'm also thinking like he would like do some like listening.
Well, I was going to say, because that one starts instinctively, and like he literally says relying on instinct will get you killed, like in the episode.
Okay, yeah. So like that was the one I was thinking, but I'm just thinking Jet's definitely more of like a tactical kind of guy.
So probably listen intently.
Yeah, listen intently.
Okay, someone unprovoked says something mean to Jet. How does he respond? Ignore it. That person's a waste of energy. Obviously smack that person. Like, what the heck? Make a good comeback. I can play this game too. I'm taken off guard. No one's ever mean to me. Try to make that person understand how that was wrong. Continue whatever I was doing, even if what I'm doing annoys the person more.
I think he would sword hook hand hook hard hand.
What?
Sword hook hand hook person.
What are you?
He would use his hook swords to hook sword hand car hand hook sword.
You're saying that he would smack them? I think you're reading Jet as more of a Zuko, but I don't think he is.
No, I'm not saying that. I just thought it was funny.
I
would say that he wouldn't come up with a good comeback, but he would come up with a bad comeback.
Down you go.
Yeah.
Truthfully, what is Jet's secret selfish desire? For others to leave me alone once in a while, I need my me time. Better looks, I feel ordinary. That the person I like would like me back. Nicer fashion clothes and accessories, or I don't want anything. I'm pretty happy with the way things are.
I think he's pretty happy with everything. Like, if something bothers him, I think he just immediately fixes it.
It seems like he would want Katara to like him back.
That doesn't seem like something that he's insecure about. Like, he just kind of,
it's like a given. It's not an insecurity. It's just a secret, selfish desire.
Okay. Then maybe all 3.
There's 5, but...
All 5? Okay.
I think Jet knows that he's hot, so I don't think it's going to be a looks one. So I would say either for others to leave me alone or that the person I like would like me back.
I was thinking...
Okay.
That Jet doesn't need alone time to think. I think he needs other people around him so he can think, just so he knows what he should do, just so he can like react to other people
to
like him maybe.
He obviously doesn't take other people's opinions into account.
Yeah.
What are you even saying?
I don't think that he feels the need for contemplation and downtime.
Okay.
Is what I'm thinking.
So how about the person I like would like me back? That's his secret selfish desire. Okay, which of the following does Jet most identify with? And then there's 7 tiny little icons I'm supposed to read. Okay, the first one says, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Oh, damn, my
is it like
my farsightedness is actually like happening. It's showing.
Ooh, reading glasses.
Okay. Open your eyes to the beauty around you. Open your mind to the wonders of life. Open your heart to those who love you.
And wait, is this one whole thing?
Yes. Okay, so the first icon is open your eyes to the beauty around you. Open your mind to the wonders of life. Open your heart to those who love you. And always be true to yourself.
This sounds kind of like what something Jet would say.
Okay, the next one is your actions speak louder than words. The next one is believe in yourself. The next one is never give up. The next one is...
These are all spot on.
Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to face it, overcome it, and finish your job. The next one is anything's possible if you've got enough nerve. And the last one, to love is to receive a glimpse of heaven. Okay, well, that one's straight out.
I feel like every single one of these, except for the last one, would be like one of those little signs from Hobby Lobby that Jet would be hanging all around his house. My top 2 is courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to face it, overcome it, and finish your job. Or anything's possible if you've got enough nerve.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with anything's possible if you've got enough nerve because that's more simplistic.
Wait.
And
honestly, I think that the courage one fits him better, though.
Okay. You think he's more of like a pseudo-intellectual type?
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to face it, overcome it, and finish your job. That last part especially is like very, very him.
Okay. So he's like a pseudo-intellectual jock type.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Which issue does Jet care most about? War, human rights, and world peace? Animal rights, extinction, and loss of habitat? Pollution and global warming? Or body image and mental health?
Definitely the first one.
Definitely that one, yeah. What is Jet's favorite subject? History, geography, religious studies? Language arts, foreign language, linguistics, literature, creative writing? Natural sciences, human physiology, biology, chemistry, and physics? Or social sciences, anthropology, economics, sociology, and political science?
Probably that last one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Who does Jet care about the most? His significant other / best friend, the people who helped him become who he is today, his family, his home and the community people, or his friends?
His family and his home and community.
Nope.
Wrong?
No.
What?
No, those are 2 different options. Either his family.
Never got a wrong answer before.
No. No. Either his family or his home and the community people. Those are 2 different options.
Okay. His community and his home and his people. He has a very tribal sort of attitude.
That's true. A stranger who's obviously interested in Jet is talking to him, but he doesn't quite reciprocate that interest. How does he feel? Awkward, looking for an escape route? Awkward, looking for an escape route? Annoyed, go away because I'm not interested in you. Just casually talk until the conversation wraps up. Happy, I like it when people are interested in me. Or embarrassed, this feels wrong and I don't like too much attention.
Definitely happy.
Yeah.
He'll take anything.
What environment attracts Jet the most? Quiet countryside, peaceful fields of flowers, mysterious deep forest, or bustling seaside town?
Mysterious deep forest, of course.
He has the magical ability to communicate with non-humans. What is it? Anything and everything. Small, cute creatures. Spirits. Cats. Wolves, wild boar, or other strong creatures, or robots and technology.
The strong ones.
Yeah. Oh, I think I already know what the result of this one's going to end up being.
Okay.
What do people say or think about Jet? Many underestimate him, and he's always surprising them with his capability. He's an airhead, and he doesn't pay enough attention to his surroundings. He's cool and awesome, but hard to approach. He's fun and good. They look up to him for guidance and advice, or he's a bit old-fashioned.
He's fun and good.
Fun and good. Fun and good
People
over
look
cool
up to
and
him.
awesome, but hard to approach.
I think part of his sort of persona is that he's very easy to approach.
So you would think fun and good over people look up to me for guidance and advice?
Wait, is that a separate one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, people look up to him for guidance and advice.
Something stinky, hideous, and awful is approaching Jet with evil intention. What is his reaction and plan of action? Don't freak out, stay relatively calm, and find friends for help. Together we're unbeatable. Find out what it wants before trying anything, if possible, reason with it. So scary. Honestly, I want to hide, but I'll face it if I must. I'm alarmed, but keep my cool, then I get saved like a fairy tale princess. Otherwise, I'm dead meat. I'd like to opt out of this scenario. I think this isn't my world. Scare it away with my own powers, or wait for it to come close and then attack it. No one messes with me.
Definitely wait for it to come close and then attack it.
Okay.
And then he'd say, like, need some deodorant? Take a shower.
Okay.
Bath time.
Here's your rubber ducky.
try this rubber ducky on for size.
Lastly, how does Jet feel while watching a magical movie? They love the lead characters. They're transported to a magical, beautiful world. They are inspired to stay strong and persevere. They're thoughtful about the earth and human issues. They're moved and they want to love their family and friends more, or they're inspired to have more confidence in themselves.
They're inspired to stay strong and persevere.
All right. Jet is advertisement. Jet is 4G LTE.
4G. What cell network are you?
Oh, okay. So I was thinking it was going to be either this one or a different one, but I was leaning towards the other one, so I was wrong, I guess. Jet is Nausicaa.
Oh, that's his Ghibli character.
His Ghibli character, yeah.
Interesting.
The last question was actually how do you feel when you're watching a Ghibli movie? It's like, okay, we can't say that. But I was thinking either this one or Mononoke.
Yeah, Mononoke seems like a really good fit for him.
Especially because Mononoke is like, I don't know if she actually cares about people that much. Like, she's a little bit too big picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nausicaa just cares about everyone.
Yeah. This is so weird because I love the character of Nausicaa so much. One of my top favorite characters.
Jet is just an evil Nausicaa.
Jet is one of my least favorite characters.
Well, I mean, okay, well, we'll get to it, but you don't have to hate Jet. We'll see.
How about I do anyways?
I'm going to read the description, though. Jet is Nausicaa from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. He's fearless, intellectual, and his kindness towards all people and creatures makes him a perfect leader. However, when he finds himself in a tough situation and he's not sure what to do, he'll take it hard and blame himself. His high sense of responsibility is both his strength and his weakness. So remember that he can rely on others. He has a lot of close friends and supporters because of his warmth and gentleness. I don't know if that's why, but I think people probably flock to him a little bit more because he just seems like he knows what he's doing, and people like to be around people like that.
Yeah.
Just very confident.
I feel like that Princess Mononoke would be a better fit.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because he's not an empathetic person.
He's extremely not. No. He cares mostly about himself and his own like sort of vendetta.
Yeah, and Nausicaa is an extremely empathetic person.
She would die for everyone, even if they're just strangers.
She would die for one of these big-ass, ugly-looking bugs.
So Nausicaa is one of the Ghibli movies that not a lot of people have seen for some reason, but it is arguably maybe the best one. So if you have not seen this movie, please watch it. It's so good. Yeah. It's so good, so good. And it's an old one, too, so it's...
That's probably why it's not as popular, but...
Yeah, but the art is still cute.
It's very good.
It's good, yeah. Okay, I think you have something for me.
Yes, I have some. We're doing 20 questions. Go.
Okay.
The answer to this 20 questions is the blasting jelly that Jet finds in the barrel, or Jet's buddies find this blasting jelly in the barrel. It's that blasting jelly. That's the answer to the question.
Is it a person?
No.
Is it? Is there only one of it?
I don't know how to answer that question. I think so. It's not a generalized thing.
Is it something that can be held by a regular old human?
Yes.
Is it something that is purchased?
In the episode?
Has it been purchased? Like, do we see it being purchased?
No.
Okay. If I licked this thing, would I get sick?
Probably.
Ooh.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I would not advise licking it.
Would it cut my tongue?
Don't think so, no.
So is it something it's not alive?
It's not alive.
Okay. Is this something that can be worn?
In the same way that you can wear like a mug or a chair. You can wear it, but it's not.
Selfie voice. Check out my new chair.
Yeah.
Does it have a purpose other than aesthetic?
Yes.
Is it something a goth girlfriend would have or own?
Usually not, but if you're a really cool goth girlfriend, I would imagine you would own this.
Is it a type of weapon?
Kind of.
Is it something that can be found in normal Earth modern day?
It exists in our world.
Okay. Do we own one?
No.
Does anyone we know own one?
I doubt it.
Is this something that can be bought?
Yes.
Is it a bright color?
I'm not sure.
What? Did we not see it in the episode?
I forget what it exactly looks like.
Okay. Is this something Jet owns?
Kind of.
Is it
yes.
Is it something that he stole?
Yes. Everything he has is stolen.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure.
Are you sure it wasn't something he planted to make it look like something was real that wasn't?
I mean, that's like a deep theory, but there's not a lot of evidence to that. It would make Jet seem a lot more conniving than I feel like that he actually is.
Is this something that could be found, I don't know, in a barrel?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it the blasting jelly?
Yes, I'm so glad that this 20 questions only took half a minute.
It was only 19 questions this time.
Were you counting?
Do I count anything? But that would be interesting if he put that there.
Yeah. Wait, if he put the blasting jelly there?
Yeah, like imagine if all they had was like jelly candy and then like...
But like the whole thing about the blasting jelly is that they used it to blow up the dam.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, well, the Fire Nation was going to use this on somebody, so we might as well use it on them. We are just full of questions today, as we typically are. I have a few more questions, but these come from strangers, people we have never met and never will.
God, I love talking to strangers.
People who probably will never hear the answers to their questions. So sad. Google Play Despacito. AvatarSpirit.net user Bobo Adobo asks. I almost made it through that without laughing.
Isn't that the photoshopping editing pro? Isn't that photo editing program?
Does anyone else think that Nick should make more shows similar to Avatar?
Who's Nick? Oh, Nickelodeon.
That just goes to show how like far they've went into obscurity after they stopped doing Avatar.
Yeah. Goodness.
So yes, definitely.
There hasn't been a good show on Nickelodeon for a while,
Nickelodeon
I think.
Still exist? When's the last time I watched Nickelodeon? Like, what do they even have on there anymore?
I feel like they've been doing like some of the sort of It's a Laugh production sitcom things where kind of like what Disney was doing, but now Disney's a little better. So
they're all like live action stuff?
Maybe.
I literally cannot think of any show that's like currently
We're pausing.
airing.
I'm just going to look up what's on Nickelodeon right now. There's SpongeBob. It's just all SpongeBob now.
But it's bad SpongeBob though.
It's the new bad SpongeBob.
Dark SpongeBob.
Show me the forbidden SpongeBob. I heard it was like a little good now because I think Steven Hillenburg actually got back on the writing team. There is the Loud House, which I'm extremely vaguely aware of.
I'm not.
Which I've heard is okay. And then there's the Henry Danger. Is this that show?
Henry Kissinger?
No. Okay. Loud House, Paw Patrol. The Thundermans, that's what it was. The show that
the only reason I'm even aware of that show is because Mark Evan Jackson. He's on Spontaneation all the time promoting it.
He's constantly like begrudgingly plugging the Thundermans.
Watch my stupid fucking show that I'm so
like he doesn't explicitly say it, and it's like, watch my show. There isn't that much thought put into it. I talk to the people and they just don't care. And
hey, you know what I miss
what?
Even more than Avatar?
What?
Face.
I don't.
You're
my
not
face?
No, you're not. You're not aware of Nickelodeon Face? The face? You face? Capital F.
Is that another like Nick at Night? Noggin?
No.
Face.
Face. Face.
Is that a show?
Oh my God. You never experienced Face?
No.
It does sound a lot like Nintendo ARMS. We just need
Nintendo Face.
We need Nickelodeon Face, Nintendo ARMS, and then like
Cartoon Network leg.
Crunchyroll torso.
I mean, we've already had Nickelodeon feet. I remember that. The Nick Jr. face. Just the face that talked to you.
Face, face.
Very digestible for your mind. Now we know that Nick is no longer airing. turn to channel 34 for just static.
Remember channels?
Remember channels? Wait, what was the first question?
Does anyone else think that Nick should make more shows similar to Avatar?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I remember hearing in a podcast that like Nick was very hesitant to add Avatar to their thing because it just didn't fit with their brand, which is right. And they should have just changed their brand a little bit.
That's true. Their brand sucked. Still does. Well, no, like back in the day, Rugrats, fucking all that. What else did we have? Like Cat Dog. Wait, no, that was on
My Life as a Teenager. I'm thinking about things that were airing.
Danny Phantom.
There
were some good shows.
I really liked Fairly Odd Parents, but now I don't think it was ever that good.
I don't think it was good.
It was not. I think it was a bad show. Nickelodeon, don't listen to this show.
Nickelodeon, don't interact. Wait a second. We're doing an entire podcast about a Nickelodeon show and just shitting all over Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
The thing I was actually thinking about, like while we were just talking about this, I was like looking over, just kind of my eyes were wandering, and my eyes locked on our Legend of Korra like box set on the shelf, and it has this huge Nickelodeon stamp on it, even though they like they like dropped Legend of Korra at some point.
Like, they dropped it halfway through the last season,
and they have the gall to like put their name on the box set.
I was listening to an episode of Nerdificent recently where
how do you have time to listen to all this?
I drive a lot. I drive for a living, and so they did an episode on Avatar, and this is like fourth-hand information that you're getting right now, listeners. They were saying that the main part that they didn't want Avatar and their brand initially was because they didn't want people fighting each other. They didn't want shows where like people were like actually like doing like violence and like fighting with each other, but they left it in anyways. Cut to several years later where someone's like literally
spoilers. I don't know if I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Because that is like one of the most shocking things I have ever seen in a TV
we'll cut
show.
that out. This is actually a good question because it's kind of like
that is a good question.
Because
I've had this question since like the first episode, but I have been like refraining from putting it in the show just because it's like just a yes or no question.
It says a lot about like what Nickelodeon wants to air as a program.
AvatarSpirit.net user Lay asks, has it ever rained in the show? I'm not exactly sure when this user asked this question. I have to hope it's like at the end of season 2 or like halfway through season 3. Because we'll keep an eye out. Rain watch.
Rain watch.
Because it has not rained yet in the show. We've not seen that.
There is that flashback though, where Aang, I think it's one of the very first episodes where Aang is like flying through the storm. And
that's true.
It seems to be raining there.
And that happens to be like the storm in the episode. It happens to be like the most like pivotal moment.
That's maybe the rain. That's the reason that
it's like,
Aang
oh shit! What is happening? What is falling from the sky? It's sort of like a Noah's Ark moment.
Has it ever rained in the Bible?
Well, remember the rain for Noah's Ark in the Bible was the first time it had canonically ever rained in the history of the universe.
Is that true?
Yes, it is. Yes. That's
what the Bible says. It's never rained before.
It specifically said that the water would come up from the ground before then. Yeah, because that's what like all the dew was and everything.
Is that something that the Baptist church told you?
I was taught this in several churches. Please write in and let us know if this is something you also learned. It had never rained until the Noah moment. This is in the
Bible, where it's like it's
Noah,
never rained.
you should know this. Come on.
That's true. My name is Noah. That would have sucked. The whole world.
This is exactly why like people didn't believe him, because he was like, "There's going to be rain falling from the sky and it's all going to get flooded," and everyone was like, "That's such
it's like
most
if
ridiculous
dirt fell
bullshit."
from the sky." So like instead of raining, like it's like, "Ooh, the ground feels especially squishy today."
Yeah, exactly. AvatarSpirit.net user Crazy4Avatar asks, "What could happen if the Avatar cycle does break?"
then the... That's a good question. What happens?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It is a good question, and they don't really explore it much until Legend of Korra, where it literally happens. Remember?
I think so.
Yeah, like there's like that moment where like all of the past avatars are like severed from her.
Okay.
And the avatars, that's gonna. So we're gonna have to get to that later, but yeah. So we find out later. Stay tuned.
If you ask me now, without watching Legend of Korra, I would say
everything we know now.
I would assume that it wouldn't be that easy, and then it would just cycle between, like, if they actually killed all the airbenders and Aang was there, it would just start cycling through like earth and water and fire.
That's already what it. Oh yeah. So there would just be no airbenders. No, because I would imagine that in order to like maintain balance, someone would then learn airbending from the hawks or something. You know what I mean?
Okay, like the original. We get into that in later episodes, but that's kind of how some people learn airbending, from actual airbending animals.
Right. So yeah, maybe someone would learn how to airbend from...
Or like bending. That's how people learn bending, is just from actual bending animals.
Yeah, animals are way more powerful than humans ever will be.
Is there more than one bender animal? Like,
I see what you're saying. Like, are there more than one animals that can bend
Like
earth?
The sky bison are the only animals that we know that can bend wind.
Fucking, again, this is this is stuff that comes up later, but the big turtle boys.
There are some turtles.
There are some turtles.
I'm not going to disclose the size of these turtles, but
there's a few turtles.
There's a couple turtles that can do some stuff.
They're very powerful little turtles.
Yeah. But that's kind of a deep cut. We don't really dwell on these turtles. They're not that as important. It's just like if you look closely, you can see some turtles doing some stuff.
I have one more question.
Okay.
What are your cabbages?
Be right back.
Goodbye. What? Noah just walked out the front door. I literally have no idea what he's doing right now. I can only hope he's going to buy actual cabbages from the store. If he did that, I would just, like, my wig would go to places wigs have never gone before. But he did grab his keys too. So like, he's got to be getting in the car. Oh my God. Folks, is Noah going to buy cabbages? I don't know if I should pause the episode or... Oh, folks. He's returned home. Hi. Welcome back.
Hi. Gear 1.
Do you need to like catch your breath first?
Gear 1. Lights, 0 miles per hour. Eco mode, 24.7 miles per gallon. 44 degrees Fahrenheit.
What?
Park, 71,847 miles.
Oh my God.
Half full. Cold? Rotate your tires.
I mean, look.
Do you have any cabbages, Summer?
My cabbages just ditto that, I guess.
Okay. Exactly the same?
We share a car, so yes. I guess just a couple more things, of course. You can find...
Well, just plugging.
You can find cabbages at Trader Joe's or Walmart.
I don't think you can find cabbages at Trader Joe's.
What?
I think they have like lettuce.
You can find me on Twitter at Stellar Ghost, on Tumblr, Interstellar Princess. My art blog is Summer Art on Tumblr, or it's just summergeist.art. You can support my various creative endeavors on Patreon, patreon.com/summergeist. And I have a new $5 tier, actually, offering some personalized... Yeah, new tier for personalized portraits. You can do that of yourself, a friend, an OC, whatever else.
For just $5, you can get a personalized Summergeist official portrait if you just subscribe. Subscribe to a Summer.
Are you interested, Noah?
No, because Patreon has a commission fee.
Because the money would just go straight back to
I would
our
literally
household. But if you're not living with me...
You can find me on Twitter at OwlDude and at Tumblr at OwlDude, and you can find me on Bandcamp at noahgeist.bandcamp.com and at music. That's music stuff. And on my music Tumblr at noahdoesmusic.tumblr.com.
Awesome.
And most importantly, add me on Pokemon Go.
Okay.
My code is...
Anything good?
Ooh, there's a... Hang on, I just got to catch this.
This is very professional.
My trainer code is 091569573398.
Nice. And of course, you can find My Podcabbages on Twitter at My Podcabbages. And then please do rate us on iTunes if you're in the neighborhood. And also, important, please check out noisepace.xyz. We're cowboys now.
Yeah.
I'm a cowboy, baby. I am from Texas. Why is that accent so bad all of a sudden? Actually, there's like some new shows on there too. I think
New shows?
Yeah, I believe Sarah's fear baiting podcast is on Noisepace now.
I'm just gonna.
And then of course Jurgenit's on there now. And if you were listening last week, we had Stephanie on the show and her podcast with Alex. Alex.
Mm-hmm.
She and Stephanie do City Girls Make Do. And yeah, there's lots of other stuff on there too.
Yeah, fear baiting is on.
Yeah, so lots of fun new things.
Here's our advertisement if you want to put us into a...
No! Stop that.
What a great cabbage. Isn't that right, Summer?
What?
What
are you doing?
Wow. I love Avatar, The Last Airbender.
What the fuck are you doing right now?
Oh. Hello, listener. This is an advertisement for My Podcabbages.
What?
You could listen to My Podcabbages.
Doing this.
Just search for it on your local podcast player.
I am... Okay. Yeah, that's all we got. Do you want to talk about cabbage now? Or do I need to go buy one from the store?
Go buy one. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna just go buy one now. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. 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 No? You're not gonna join?
Bye.
Cabbage.
I have... this is completely unplanned, but I have a 20 questions I want to do really quick.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because you just thought of one?
I have a
Something
really good one, yeah.
Okay. Is it a person?
No.
Is it a thing?
Yes.
Is it an object?
Yes.
Is it just a singular thing?
Yes.
Is it sharp?
No.
Is it a is it a weapon at all?
No.
Can you eat it?
No.
If I tried to eat it, would it be painful?
No.
Would it just be difficult to eat? Like if I tried eating...
I think it wouldn't.
Okay. So I can eat it?
You can, but I don't know what the effects of it would be.
Like
what the consequences would be of that.
Like I can eat a flash drive.
Not quite like that, but I guess.
Okay. Is it organic?
Yes.
Is it organic like it's part of like either plant or animal matter?
Correct.
Is it made of plants?
Yes.
Is it the lychee berries?
No.
Is it
I think it's likey, isn't it?
Likey, I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
They literally say it in the episode. Likey nuts? It's called nuts in the episode. Is it made from the trees in the forest?
Yes.
Is it the trees?
No.
Is it the tree house? Is it part of the tree house sort of structure?
No.
Is it something that Jet's crew has, like it's theirs? It comes from their crew.
Not necessarily.
Is it something that Jet's crew stole?
No. No.
Okay. Is it?
I mean, I guess like in a very, very roundabout way, sort of.
Is it
but
something?
Not really.
Is it something that the gang brings to the Jet crew?
Kind of.
Is it the hat that Katara made for Jet?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yes. Jet kind of stole it by just befriending them.
That was a no scope. question right there. 360 no scope.